Late one morning in the Hawthorne Barbecue, an eatery on Nightfall Road in Los Angeles, a youthful couple, Honey Rabbit, Amanda Plummer, and Pumpkin, Tim Roth, examine the upsides and downsides of ransacking banks versus alcohol stores. Then they add eateries to the situation, acknowledging they can make more by taking clients' wallets than they escape the till. The two kiss, pronounce they love one another and stand up in their corner, reporting that they're looting the coffee shop. Prior in the day, Jules Winfield, Samuel L. Jackson, and Vincent Vega, John Travolta, show up at a San Fernando Valley high-rise. They are hit men in the utilize of Marcellus Wallace and have come to recover a significant having a place of Wallace's from a gathering of would-be lawbreakers drove by a youthful and gullible person named Brett, forthright Whaley. They reclaim the important thing, kept in a satchel, it shines heartily and captivates whoever checks it out. Jules recounts what he guarantees is a book of scriptures section, Ezekiel 25:17, before he and Vincent execute Brett. Story 1. Vincent Vega and Marcellus Wallace's significant other. At his strip club, Marcellus Wallace, Ving Rhames, pays fighter Butch Coolidge, Bruce Willis, to toss his next battle. Jules and Vincent show up, however it's a couple of hours after their visit to the valley. The two hired gunmen are wearing workout clothes instead of the suits they wore before in the day. While Jules heads to the men's room, Vincent goes to the bar and experiences Butch. The men take a moment loathing to one another. Vincent affronts Butch, yet before Butch can fight back, Marcellus brings Vincent over and embraces him. Marcellus is passing on town that night and Vincent is to take Marcellus' significant other, Uma Thurman, out for supper to keep her engaged. Reports proliferate that Marcellus seriously injured another partner, Antoine, who he accepted had been inappropriately amicable with Mia, so Vincent is anxious. Prior to getting Mia, he visits his street pharmacist, Spear, Eric Stoltz, and gets some top-notch heroin. Appropriately calmed, he accompanies the cocaine-dependent, bind-smoking Mia to Hair Thins, a West Hollywood 1950s-themed cafe. After some casual banter about European travel, Mia's bombed acting profession, foot rub, and the tales about Antoine, which Mia disperses, Mia enters herself and Vincent in a dance challenge. They dance the contort and win a prize. After supper, they return to the Wallace's home. Vincent goes to the washroom to convince himself not to make a pass at Mia. In the meantime, she finds the baggie of heroin in his jacket pocket and, accepting it's cocaine, grunts some. She quickly drops and starts to froth at the mouth. Overreacted, Vincent takes the perishing Mia to Spears where they quarrel over how to manage her. Heeding Spears' guidance, Vincent can resuscitate her with an injection of adrenaline regulated directly to the heart. Vincent brings Mia back home. They make a deal to avoid let Marcellus know what occurred since the two of them would cause problems for it. Story number 2, The Gold Watch. The next night, before his battle, Butch longs for an occurrence from his young life. Back at his Tennessee home in 1973, Chief Coons, Christopher Walken, visited Butch to present to him a gold watch. The watch had a place with Butch's extraordinary granddad, who took it to the Second Great War with him. Butch's granddad had taken it to the Second Great War, and Butch's dad to Vietnam. Butch's dad passed on as a pal, yet gave the watch to Coons to get back to Butch. Coons says that he and Butch's dad needed to conceal the watch in their rectums to get it far from their capturers. Butch ranges up with his hand and takes the watch from Coons. Butch wakes from the fantasy. Rather than tossing the match, off-screen, he battles so violently that he kills his adversary. He took Marcellus' cash and wagered it on himself. His rewards will add up to a little fortune. Butch makes casual banter with Esmeralda, Angela Jones, the driver of the taxi he is in, who uncovers that she knows he's the fighter who killed his rival. She appears to be entranced with the subject of death. Esmeralda drives Butch to the shabby inn where he and his French sweetheart, Fabienne, Maria de Medeiros, are remaining, having deserted their condo. In the first part of the day they will go to Butch's old neighborhood of Knoxville, Tennessee, guarantee their rewards, and leave the country. While pressing the following morning, nonetheless, Fabienne uncovers that she failed to remember the gold watch, the having a place Butch esteems over all others. After a savage explosion in which he wrecks the in-room's TV, Butch takes Fabienne's vehicle to get the watch, leaving a couple of blocks away and strolling through an empty parcel to his apartment complex as a safeguard. He enters without episode and tracks down his wristwatch in the room. He understands he's in good company in the condo when he sees a sub-automatic weapon in the kitchen. Surprising Vincent as he rises out of the restroom, Butch kills him with a firearm he found. He leaves his loft in the wake of cleaning the weapon down with a tissue to eliminate his fingerprints. Leaving the loft with his watch, Butch experiences Marcellus going across the road. He attempts to run Marcellus over with his vehicle yet just injures him and is hit by another vehicle himself. Both are harmed and Marcellus pursues Butch into a pawn shop. There, the proprietor, Maynard, Dwayne Whitaker, overwhelms them. Marcellus and Butch wake up in the cellar of the pawn shop, bound and choked. Maynard has called his cousin Zed, Peter Green, who functions as a safety officer. Maynard and Zed are obviously a couple of redneck chronic executioners who kill bystanders who occur into their store. While the Gimp, Stephen Hibbert, a gigantic man youngster dressed head to toe in dark calfskin obsession gear, watches Butch, Maynard and Zed bring Marcellus into the following room and start to assault him. Butch figures out how to break the ropes and seat holding him and takes out the Gimp. Prepared to leave the pawn shop and Marcellus to his destiny, Butch has an assault of soul and gets a samurai sword and salvages Marcellus. Simultaneously, Maynard is killed and Zed undermined by a shotgun impact discharged by Marcellus. Marcellus stays behind to direct the torment execution of Zed. "I'ma get middle age on your butt," he tells him, however guarantees that as long as Butch never specifies what occurred and always avoids Los Angeles, Marcellus will fail to remember that Butch sold out him in the boxing ring. Butch concurs. In the last scene, Butch and Fabienne leave town on Beauty, Zed's chopper-style cruiser. Story number 3, The Bonnie Circumstance. 3 days sooner, blazing back so as to soon after Vincent and Jules get done with killing Brett for taking Marcellus' valued belonging, a gangster, Alexis Arquette, they had not realized about blasts out of the restroom where he had evidently been when Jules and Vincent entered and purges a huge gun point clear at them. In any case, every one of the shots miss Vincent and Jules, raising a ruckus around town behind them, so they return shoot and kill the gangster. Jules' sure happen was help from above, however Vincent excuses the thought. They leave with Marvin, Phil Lamar, Marcellus and Sideman in the group. In the vehicle, Jules proceeds with his demand that what occurred in the loft was a supernatural occurrence and that he's resigning from Marcellus' pack. Vincent hangs over the front seat, inquiring as to whether he puts stock in wonders, however coincidentally shoots him in the head and kills him. Within the vehicle is presently canvassed in blood and cerebrum matter. Jules, enraged at Vincent's klutziness, drives to the place of his main companion in the valley, a previous partner named Jimmy, Quentin Tarantino. Jimmy allows them to conceal the vehicle in his carport, however irately lets them know that they need to dispose of the body in the span of 60 minutes, before his significant other Bonnie gets back home from her night shift at a clinic. Jules calls Marcellus at his home to make sense of their problem. Marcellus then calls Winston Wolfe, Harvey Keitel, a smooth and expert more clean who tackles issues. Wolfe shows up at Jimmy's home and advises Vincent and Jules how to tidy up the vehicle and themselves. They need to strip out of their matching suits, be splashed down with a nursery hose and wear Jimmy's extra shirts and shorts, which makes sense of their clothing at the strip club. Then assists them with discarding the vehicle and body at a junkyard, having a place with a circumspect companion named Beast Joe, whose little girl is Mr. Wolfe's sweetheart. With the entire circumstance settled, Jules and Vincent choose to eat at the Hawthorne barbecue, where they proceed with their conversation about supernatural occurrences. Jules uncovers his arrangement to leave his criminal life and travel the globe as a panhandler, helping those experiencing under oppression. Vincent, upset that his companion and accomplice is leaving the life, derides him, then goes to the restroom. All at once Honey Rabbit and Pumpkin, from the introduction, start their burglary of the coffee shop. They irately gather the money from the register and the supporters' wallets. Jules gives Pumpkin his wallet, yet when Pumpkin attempts to take Marcellus' attaché, Jules threatens to use his firearm and incapacitates Pumpkin. While Vincent holds Honey Rabbit under control, Jules makes sense of for Pumpkin how, significantly prior that morning, he would have killed Pumpkin and Honey Rabbit without even batting an eye. He discusses his imitation form of Ezekiel 25:17 once more. The way of the honorable man is assailed on all sides by the wrongdoings of the childish and the oppression of malicious men. Favored is he who for the sake of noble cause and kindness shepherds the powerless through the valley of haziness, for he is genuinely his sibling's attendant and the locator of lost youngsters. Also, I will hit downward on you with extraordinary retribution and enraged outrage the people who endeavor to harm and annihilate my siblings. What's more, you will realize my name is the ruler when I lay my retaliation upon you. Jules makes sense of that. While he recently thought it was cool to make such a merciless entry the last thing his casualties heard, he presently understands that the oppression of insidious men some portion of the section alludes to him. and he means to improve personally. He and Vincent permit Honey Rabbit and Pumpkin to leave with all the cash yet not the portfolio. They pass on the coffee shop themselves and go to Marcella's strip club.